2,400 metres. I don't think there are a great number of chances in the race. The Queen's Cup rotates to every state of Australia year by year, and it's 5 years now since Noble Heights won the last Queen's Cup in 1983, and that was run at Warwick Farm. Ken, if you're looking for a topical tip in the Queen's Cup, the only one I can find is Peaceful Kingdom.
Indeed it is, John. Whether he's good enough, well, that's another thing. Let's look at the prices here on the Queen's Cup. Eye of the Sky, very impressive at Newcastle. Pretty good value, I think, at 15 to 1 to be ridden by Wayne Harris. Mountbank 20 to 1. Grosvenor Square well in commission at 7 to 2. Natski a hot favourite on the tote and in the betting ring at 2 to 1. $1.50 at the moment for 50 cents. Rising Fear getting out to close to 80 to 1. 9 to 1 Might. 25 Peaceful Kingdom. Number 8 Centos lost at Rosehill on protest. Perhaps today's his day. 11 to 1. He'll be well ridden by Kevin Moses. Say La Vie, Richard Lyons Mount is at 50 to 1. My tip is Zemakima to be ridden by Johnny Marshall between 11 to 2 and 5 to 1. He's third favourite. He's also a stablemate, incidentally, of the favourite Natski. Fancy Flight at 3.30. 40 Snow Chief. Long odds the others. They're about to jump in the Queen's Cup of 1988.
All set. 2,400 metres, 200 to the winning post, and then one circuit of Randwick. Final scene, fidgety in the gate, an attendant giving the rider some assistance. They're away. Final scene began awkwardly. He's last out of the barrier. Mountie Bank also began sluggishly, and Snow Chief bounced out in front of Rebel Yell and Say La Vie. Might is cruising over from a wide barrier to join those leaders, and then Centos and Zamakima going hard early. Peaceful Kingdom is trapped wide, even wider going out of the straight Pearl Island, and then Fancy Flight. Mountie Bank is improving between horses, followed by Final Scene, and then Grosvenor Square. A good way back as Natski, followed by Mixed Up, and then Eye of the Sky and Oh Nota with Rising Fear, and last is My Kind of Girl. Snow Chief is in front, approaching the 1800 mark at a very muddling speed, led by a half length on Peaceful Kingdom. Pearl Island is moving up into third place, followed by Rebel Yell, and then Might on the outside from Mountie Bank. On the fence behind those, Zamakima in a good spot. Final Scene pulling hard, and the rider's going to allow him to stride around the outside now, and Final Scene is about to move up into second place. Pearl Island took over going to the back and led by nearly 2 lengths on Final Scene. Snow Chief is now relegated to third, although Peaceful Kingdom has moved past him, followed by Might, and then Rebel Yell and Mountie Bank, and Centos is next, and the pace has quickened appreciably. On the fence midfield is Zamakima, followed by Fancy Flight. Grosvenor Square out deep as Mixed Up, followed by Say La Vie. Further back in the field came Natski, Rising Fear moving around the outside, and then Eye of the Sky and Oh Nota, and last My Kind of Girl. In the run to the top turn, Pearl Island is the leader, clear of Peaceful Kingdom and Might, followed by Final Scene, Snow Chief, and then Rebel Yell, Zamakima, Mountie Bank, Centos. Rising Fear continuing to make ground around the outside, and further back Fancy Flight. Grosvenor Square awkwardly placed. Mixed Up is out deep on the track, followed by Natski, who's behind a wall of horses, and then Say La Vie and Oh Nota from Eye of the Sky, and still My Kind of Girl is last as they near the 600 mark, and Rising Fear had moved up to momentarily lead, although Pearl Island again went through to head him as they near the turn. Peaceful Kingdom in third place, followed by Snow Chief, and then Might. Zamakima with nowhere to go as they turn for home, and then Mountie Bank and Natski is carted about 8 deep on the corner. Into the straight, Peaceful Kingdom and Pearl Island and Rising Fear. Snow Chief is joining in, followed by Final Scene, Might, and Zamakima getting a split near the inside, and here comes Natski. Zamakima got through on the fence to join Snow Chief. Natski coming at the pair of them. Zamakima just in front. Natski is coming at him. Natski on the outside, headed Zamakima, and Natski's going to be a little too strong. Natski and Zamakima. Natski coming away on the line, won it by 3/4 of a length to Zamakima, and it's a Jack Denham Quinella. Centos probably third in front of Snow Chief and My Kind of Girl, and then Grosvenor Square, Eye of the Sky, Might, Say La Vie, and then Oh Nota, Rebel Yell, Fancy Flight, Mixed Up, Rising Fear, Final Scene, Peaceful Kingdom, Mountie Bank, and Pearl Island is last in the Queen's Cup. It's a Jack Denham Quinella with Natski. A super effort, forced 7 and 8 horses wide on the turn into the straight, and it was a very powerful performance that saw Natski get home from his stablemate Zamakima. Now Natski, number 4 on the TAB to pay $1.50 and 75. Zamakima, number 10, is going to pay $1.05. And which one did I nominate for third? Probably Centos, I think. Number 8, if he does, Ken, he'll pay $1.75.
Yes, John, G sprinted quick when he sprinted Natski. So Zamakima fought back, having on his third run in his first 2,400 this preparation. A great run. Jack Denham's going to be hard to hold off in the Metrop with these two horses. The honours today were with the stable P, Natsuki. Unfortunately, I was on the second horse, Zemakima, and as John said, I think you'll find Sentoes has snuck into third place in the last couple of hops. That was the story of the Queen's Cup. 2 to go here at Randwick. In race 7, the second leg of the Daily Double, I like the Queenslander, number 5, Don't Play.
OK, Ken, Don't Play has an excellent record in Queensland, and he's been to Sydney before. In fact, last autumn he ran 4th to Sky Chase in the Rosehill Guineas, so he knows his way around here, and he proved that day that he's got a touch of class. Well, Johnny Marshall had to weave and duck and change course on Zamakima. You can't use that as an excuse because he dead set hit the front, and he found his stablemate Natsuki just a little too strong, a little too seasoned, and Natsuki, who I might add is a year older than Zamakima, was able to beat him about a half or 3/4 of a length. Natsuki, Gavin Duffy, the winner. OK, coming up, we meet some very special athletes.
Got Bruce Ruxton out there to present the trophy, have they, mate?
I'll tell you what, if he walked through the Vista Room restaurant, which is situated directly under our commentary box, he'd get a rude old shock. Lunch is being served, or was served earlier, to about 350 delegates of the Asian Racing Conference, and Bruce would have been emotionally overawed, I'd imagine, had he walked through the Vista Room. Kenny, you'll be interested to know, presentation of trophies for this race will be made by Dato Dr. Yahya Ismail.
Good old Yahya. Well, there's been plenty of Asians in Sydney in the last week, and after a few of the Asian jockeys rode at Warwick Farm on Wednesday, there was a few people voting in favour of Bruce Ruxton. That is said rather lightheartedly. Let's look at these prices. Card Shark is at 33 to 1 now, getting out. Gold Trump, short odds, 6 to 4 favourite. He's got a good chance. I just think he's under the odds. Warned at 15 to 1. Western Sovereign at 20 to 1. Don't Play is into 11 to 2. He's my pick. I think that's pretty fair odds. He should get a good run from the 1 alley. He's as strong as anything. Gee, I'm starting to get a bit keen on him. Hyder Prince at 16 to 1. Pleasant Flight at 25 to 1. Regal Native eased out a bit, 7 to 1. Make that 7.5 to 1 now. True Dreams at 11 to 1. Port of Capsali's gone from 8 to 1 into about 7 to 1. Rama King at 40 to 1. Life at the Top was won earlier in the day, so she scratched from this. Yarn is an 80 to 1 chance into about 66s. 200 Lord Foxing, 330 Rocket Master. Now Desert Bow, he's been well backed in the ring. 50s into about 20s, the same on the tote, round about 22 to 1 actually. And Wedu Menawa at 400 to 1. Physique and Quality Affair were both scratchings. Don't Play going to return at the moment about $3.20. I think he's got a heck of a good chance. He'll be ridden by Gavin Duffy, who won the previous race, the Queen's Cup on Natsuki. Here's Johnny.
Good Ken. Gold Trump, of course, has a great record. He's won 7 out of 9. He broke down a year ago with a suspensory ligament strain. He was out for a long time, but since coming back, he's put together win after win, although Bart Cummings is the first to admit that leg is always a worry, particularly on the hard tracks as they are at the moment. We might just have time, or no, I was going to say we might have time to look at the closing stages of the Melbourne race, but I think I'm flirting with danger because we've only got Warned to move up, Desert Bow and the other one in the all-pink Rocket Master, and they'll be off, so we won't risk it. Warned and Desert Bow to move up. Desert Bow's the only 3-year-old in the race. Pardon me. Now, Desert Bow and Warned are the last two up into the starting gates. Desert Bow, the lone 3-year-old. The amber light flashing on top of the gates, and the starters coming over to release the field. They're about set. Big field in the Malaysia-Singapore Trophy. Starters not quite satisfied with them. He's having one long, lingering look down the line before he mounts his rostrum. Hyder Prince stands up well with Wetu Manawar. Oh, there's one rearing, looked like Lord Foxing. Steadies again. Starter still not satisfied with them. Now the line looks better. Don't Play made a lunge at the front of the gate. No, the starter's not happy. He got down off his rostrum and he's walking back across towards the stalls. In fact, he's on the track in front of about gate 7 or 8. Or no, even wider than that. He's out around gate 12. Apparently, those gates showed some indication that they might be going to spring open prematurely, and the starter's making an adjustment. Well, you wouldn't believe it. Most of these are old stages, and something must have just banged its head on the front gate, and Billy Cooper was worried about it. And he rushed over to make a quick adjustment. In fact, he just reached into his pocket, and I'm sure he took out a screwdriver. The starting gates are quite a unique invention. They're run by magnetism. The gates are held together by big magnetic plates, and when the starter hits the button, he cuts off the power. The magnetism lapses. The magnetic field terminates, and big springs pull the gates open with amazing force, and with one hell of a clang too, and quite a thrilling experience to be over at the starting point and to hear that metallic clang as the stalls fly open and the jockeys hooping and hollering in the first 2 or 3 strides of the race. Now, the starter's satisfied that he's been able to make the necessary adjustment to the front of gate 11 or 12, and he's now back on his rostrum. And they should jump at any second in race 7, the Malaysia-Singapore Trophy. The track is cleared and they're off and running. And slow to move, Lord Foxing and Rama King. They were both flat-footed at the start. Wide out, Rocket Master and Desert Bow won the start. Gold Trump began quickly, and so did Western Sovereign. Pleasant Flight is quickly pushing through into a prominent spot soon after the start. Close handy near the inside is Don't Play, and then True Dreams followed by Port of Kapsali. Regal Native has pushed about 4 deep in the run to the first turn, and Rama King is improving after that slow start, followed by Yarn, and then Card Shark and Wetu Manowar. Lord Foxing, Hader Prince being second last, and Warned on the outside as last. At the 800 mark, Pleasant Flight is the leader. Western Sovereign second, Rocket Master third, makes a line of 3. About 3 lengths away, Desert Bow on the outside of Gold Trump, and then Regal Native, who can't get on the track. Port of Kapsali between horses, Don't Play on the fence, being niggled a bit. True Dreams in trouble, he all but fell. True Dreams dropped back sharply as they neared the turn, and then Yarn followed by Card Shark and Wetu Manowar. Into the straight, Pleasant Flight the leader, clear of Western Sovereign. Gold Trump got a beautiful run up on the fence. He's about to switch to the outside now as they top the rise, and further out Regal Native. Don't Play can't win. At the 200, Pleasant Flight tackled by Gold Trump. Regal Native on the outside trying to reach them but can't at the moment. Pleasant Flight is still in front. Gold Trump got to his girth. He can't get any further, and it's Peter Cook again at his brilliant best on Pleasant Flight, which led all the way to beat Gold Trump. Regal Native is third, then Port of Kapsali, Hader Prince, Rocket Master, Rama King, Desert Bow, and then Warned and Yarn, Don't Play, Wetu Manowar. True Dreams well back after a nasty check on the turn, followed by Western Sovereign, well back as Lord Foxing, and Card Shark is last. P. Cook, cold as a mackerel. Iceberg Cook, he won on Life at the Top earlier on today, so it's a winning double for Peter, and Pleasant Flight is trained by his best mate, former jockey Neville Voigt. Pleasant Flight, number 7 on the TAB. Oh, listen to this. $18.50 and $3.95. Gold Trump second on the Place Tote 70, and third will be Regal Native, number 8. Ken on the Place Tote, $1.20.
Gee whiz, he looked a treat going out, John, that horse. You just thought, oh, well, but still there was no speed in the race that suited him down to the ground, and really Gold Trump was never going to get him down the straight. He had his big head up and was still under a lot of pressure, a half length behind him. Peter Cook still hadn't gone for Pleasant Flight. Now he does, and he quite comfortably maintains that half length, if not making it 3/4 now onto a length. And, oh well, Gold Trump has beaten Regal Native third. But Gold Trump was a bit lucky. He got the run he did inside his stablemate Western Sovereign, who moved out quickly at the top of the straight, or he mightn't have got as close as he did. The margin, well, perhaps a half length on the line, but a clear win to Pleasant Flight, as John told you, at big odds. One to go here at Randwick. My tip is Blixen. She's won her last 2 at Randwick and Warwick Farm. Number 3 coming up today. I'm fairly confident. Number 7, Blixen.
Okay, Ken, numbers 7, 2 and 8 official, 7, 2 and 8 officially, and Pleasant Flight is the winner. The runner-up is Gold Trump, and the third horse, number 8, Regal Native. Righto, in a moment, more of the Nations Cup show jumping. Until he retired in 1948, and this fillies race has been a very well-known one on the AJC calendar since that early period. Now, in Melbourne today, the meeting is at Moonee Valley. They're racing again there tomorrow, incidentally, the famous Moonee Valley Stakes Sunday meeting, which generally draws a big crowd. Today, the Fian Stakes was the principal race. A little New Zealand horse called Our Poetic Prince had his first Melbourne start this trip. He's been here before, of course. I heard reports across the Tasman that he was back bigger, better, brighter than ever, and those reports were certainly not exaggerated. Watch him win the Fian Stakes today.
As they round the home turn, Rancho Ruler headed by Flotilla. Vogue in behind them, can't go on. Sky Chase pulled to the outside, running home fairly, and so also Our Poetic Prince as they straighten up now. 250 left to go, and Flotilla tackled by Our Poetic Prince on the outside. Our Poetic Prince on the outside's taken the lead from Flotilla halfway down the straight. Sky Chase behind them and Vogue, but it's the New Zealander, Our Poetic Prince, coming away for a big win. Our Poetic Prince has won by a length and a quarter. Second is Flotilla. Vogue or Sky Chase for third, followed by High Regard. Then Rancho Ruler.
Well, Ken, he's been here before, Our Poetic Prince. He just seemed to lack something the last couple of times we've seen him, but he's a stronger horse now. That was very impressive win.
Yes, Johnny, it was a pretty good run last year. Went second to Rubiton in the Cox Plate at Moonee Valley. He's a bit of a racehorse, Our Poetic Prince. Let's look at these prices on the Red Jell and Superfecta. Grey Fee, a clear favourite at 5 to 2. 8 to 1 Heidi, 5 to 1 Atalanta's Way. 8 to 1 now Fine Blend. St Bridget's Well at 15 to 1. Blue Pulse at 20 to 1. I'm pretty keen on this filly. Blixen, almost 9 to 1 on the tote. $4.90 for 50 cents. Gee, I think she'll run a race. 20's Kith, 11 Sally Sopra, 7 Bolshoi for the dancers. 100 Slightly Pink, 66 Submerged, 100 All Nay. Venus Arana is out. Look at these long odds. 500 Dixiana, 200 Miss Quality, 500 Brigana, 60 Pity Palace. She started favourite at Warwick Farm on Wednesday, and 660 to 1 Dash of Joy. Countess Maritza, she was the second reserve and she never got a start. They're just about all in. Here's the best caller in the business for the lucky last. Give Blixen a cheer for me. Here's Johnny Tapp.
Good, Ken. I'll certainly do that. Blixen, ridden by Shane Dye, who's ridden a double here today, including the George Main Stakes on Jenica. So he's got to make it a treble to win on Blixen. Starters on his stand, and they're all set and ready to jump in the last of the day. The line looks good, and they're off and running. And slow to move at the start, Submerged. She began very awkwardly, and Dixiana went straight back to the tail. Now Kith on the extreme outside won the start and is showing blistering early pace to lead over Blixen when they get going, followed by All Nay. Heidi is prominently placed soon after the start, and Blue Pulse is racing up closer to the lead. St Bridget's Well is handy, but trapped out very deep in the run to the first corner, followed by Bolshoi. Further back then as they go around that turn is Miss Quality, a gap to Fine Blend and Salis Opera. At the head of the others came Pity Palace, followed by Slightly Pink, and then Dash of Joy. Well back in the field, Submerged, followed by Atalanta's Way and Brigana, and tailed off is Dixiana. 700 metres out, and Kith is the leader over Heidi and St Bridget's Well, who's 3 deep. A length and a half away on the fence coming to the turn is Blixen, whose rider's lost his cap, and then Bolshoi and Blue Pulse, who's 3 wide. At the head of the others, Grey Fee. Oh, there's two horses down. Dash of Joy has fallen. Miss Quality has fallen. 2 horses down on the turn. A couple of others badly interfered with, including Slightly Pink. Over the rise now, and Kith is the leader. Heidi grabs it quickly. Heidi shoots to the lead. Here comes Pity Palace on the outside, but she hung in badly. He's got to straighten her up, and now she goes for home. Pity Palace. She's running about all over the track, but she takes the lead 100 metres out. Atalanta's Way is storming down the outside, but Pity Palace in front, close to home, and she'll win. And Pity Palace beat Atalanta's Way. Third's close, Blixen probably a nose in front of Grey Fee. Submerged, a big run, followed by Salis Opera, and then Fine Blend, Heidi, Blue Pulse, Brigana, Bolshoi, St Bridget's Well. Further back, Dixiana, followed by All Nay, and then Kith and Slightly Pink, and 2 riderless horses. Firstly, Dash of Joy, just going past the winning post. One of 2 to fall about the 600 metres mark. Apprentice M. Fitzgerald dislodged from Dash of Joy, and the Singapore Malaysia jockey KLU has also come to grief on Miss Quality. Slightly Pink almost fell. She went within an ace of being a third one to come down, but miraculously stayed on her feet, and a couple of others were badly interfered with. But Miss Quality and Dash of Joy down, and those 2 riders on the track. Oh, gee, that was nasty. Let's hope they're okay. M. Fitzgerald and KLU. Pity Palace. Struth, what price is this going to be? Pity Palace, number 18, Craig Carmody, is going to pay $28.50 and $5.50. Atalanta's Way, number 3, will get second to pay $1.10. And I think Blixen will get third, number 7, to pay $1.65, Ken.
here's the fall, John. If we pick it up with it back in outside the grey horse, you'll see the horse will start to tumble there. Down she goes. The horse following her on gets over the top of it, but now I think you'll see the jockeys dislodged. Well, there's two down. One was out of the picture, unfortunately, further back, and a very nasty fall in the last race here at Randwick. The winner, Pity Palace, only just missed that trouble, and as I said in the run-through, she started 9-4 favourite at Warwick Farm only 3 days ago. How would you be if you took 9-4 at the farm and saw her win at 60-1 today at Randwick? Oh, boy. Johnny, that'd certainly make you go crook.
I'll say it would, Ken. The numbers are 18, 3 and still no sign of third. I was watching very closely at that slow-mo replay. I think KL Oo's mount was the first to go, Miss Quality. She just seemed to run onto the heels of something in front. Slightly Pink jumped over the top of her. She just took off as though it were Beecher's Brook, Slightly Pink. Kevin Moses mount. I don't know how she stood up. And then along came Dash of Joy and ran over the fallen rider, and she too hit the deck. KL Oo and the other boy, young Fitzgerald, who's apprenticed to Brian Mayfield Smith. Let's hope they're okay. Grey Fee got up in the last stride to run third in the final race, ridden by Nigel Tiley, a whisker in front of Blixen. I thought Blixen might have got third, but not to be. 18, 3 and 1, and racing ends on a sensational note. Coming up, we meet some Aussie bobsledders.